Hello everyone, and welcome to another video where today I am finally getting back to work on the Bug Trike, which, if you're unfamiliar with from previous videos, is my Schwinn Meridian tricycle motorized with a vintage Bug Deluxe engine, which, as you can see, is missing. And that's because last time we had it off to do some repairs and maintenance to the engine, and at the end of the video it was ready to go back on, and that was almost 4 months ago. So sorry about the wait, but real quick before we get to work, I'll tell you the story of why it took so long to get back to it. If you remember, in that last video I attempted to repair this piece right here, which is the gear case cover, but has a bolt hole protruding that mounts to this shifter arm right here for lifting and lowering the drive wheel off of the tire. And I tried to fix that piece, which had broken off the bolt hole part, with some JB Weld. And to quote myself from that last video, hopefully repaired again. Hopefully that lasts. Yeah, it didn't work at all. I actually started filming the video of putting the engine back on the trike and going for a test ride, and the second I tried bolting the shift arm to that piece, the JB Weld cracked. So it didn't even last getting installed back on the trike. And if you recall, I said something in the last video, I guess if that fails, I'll have to get it welded. And that's what I did. The reason it took over 3 months is because, oh great, the second I handed it off to him, his welder broke. So that's about my luck. So he was waiting on a part to fix it, and that's the reason it took so long. But it's finally back in my possession, all welded up, and it shouldn't be going anywhere this time. So I gotta press this bearing back into it, but it's ready to go back on the engine. And once that's done, the engine can go back on the trike. So at long last, let's get back to work on getting the engine back on the Bug Trike. First though, I'm noticing these tires are pretty dirty, and that's probably enough dirt to make the drive wheel slip. So I'm gonna get this washed up real quick and I'll be right back. And there we go, that looks a lot better. And now I have the motor here ready to go with a crate of tools and parts to put it back on. But I'm not going to cover that because I already have a video on it, even though this time it will be a little different since the mounting brackets are already on here, but it's still the same process. But if you're interested, I'll put a link to my playlist in the description of all the videos regarding repairs and maintenance to these Bug engines. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. For now, I'm gonna get to work on putting the motor back on the trike. Well, the neighbor started cutting the grass, so I gotta do a voiceover. But the engine is on the trike, and all that's left to do is fill it with gas and go for a ride. But I wanted to point out that you may notice it if you've seen the previous videos, that the gas cap is different. And that's because I had to replace the old one because it cracked. And I wanted to add this in that if you have one of these engines and need to get a replacement gas cap, you can get one like this on eBay. They aren't made exactly for these bike engines, but they're made for a string trimmer from the same manufacturer, Tanaka. But they fit these gas tanks, whether it's the metal one or the plastic one like this one has. But if you just look up Tanaka gas cap on eBay, they'll pop up. And as you can see, they're orange, not black like the original ones. But one nice thing is they have that little catch, as you can see. So it's self-contained, you don't have to worry about setting it down somewhere and losing it. So that's a nice bonus. But I just wanted to add that in there just in case anyone else needs to replace their gas cap. That's where I got this one from. Well, the gas tank's filled up, so let's go take her for a test ride. Okay everyone, we've got a beautiful sky this afternoon, but that means we're losing light. So it's now finally the big moment. Will it start up and run after being separated from it for almost 4 months? And just to recap, in the last video, I replaced the exhaust gasket because it was blown, or it had been blown ever since I owned the engine. So we're also giving that a test. So hopefully the exhaust is sealed up now and more quiet and not leaking out of it. Second, I replaced the fuel primer bulb. It's not dry rotted anymore from that freeze we had over the winter, which it's crazy that it's already almost winter again. But enough talk. Before we lose too much light, we're gonna do a test run with the Bug Trike. I pedaled back here to the test track, aka our back street. The exhaust is cold. I didn't start the engine. So we're gonna see what she does. Give me a sec to adjust and bear with me because I gotta do this with one hand here. All right, let's go. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to prime the fuel. Oh, you probably heard that. It hardened up and it squirting fuel, so that works. All right, take two. Here we go. Yeah, I know that noise is hideous, but it's actually normal, kinda. There's a one-way clutch inside, and when the engine dies, when the drive wheel is engaged, the front tire turns it the opposite direction, so it freewheels, but it's metal tabs on metal, so it doesn't sound pleasant, but it is normal. It's just the way they were designed. But anyways, back to it. Not sure if it wants choke or not. I think it fired off and I pulled the choke out and that's what killed it. So let's try it again. There she goes. She's still trying to warm up. Let me turn around and there's a truck coming. That exhaust is definitely more quiet than before. So I think our exhaust gasket is an improvement. She should be warmed up by now, so let's open her back up again. Had to pull off for some more cars. This road usually isn't that busy, but just because I want to ride my bike. I love that clutch on this model engine. You don't have to lower your wheel or raise your wheel. Looks like I gotta raise the idle up, but yeah, there's a clutch in this engine, so you don't have to lift your drive wheel when you come to a stop, unlike my other one. But I'm gonna call that a success. This thing runs like a champ. My other one too. They're just so simple and there's not much to go wrong to them, so as long as everything's in working order, they run great. Well, check out the sky now. Well, there you have it, folks. The Bug Trike is back up and running. I'm definitely glad that it is. I haven't ridden this thing for probably over 5 months, and it felt good to be riding it again. These engines are so much fun, no matter what you put them on. A normal bicycle like my other blue Sears bike, or a tricycle. Totally different experiences, but they're both really fun to ride around. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, sorry it took so long to get back to it if you've been waiting since the last video. But again, I was waiting on that one part to be welded, and I think that headache is finally solved. It should be nice and strong now, and I shouldn't have to worry about that anymore. Really, this engine had a lot of kinks to work out, unlike my other one. It pretty much just needed a fuel pump. This thing needed gas tank work and a bunch of other little things, and then that's been broke ever since I got it. I think it got broken shipping, but it's all finally has the kinks worked out of it now. That exhaust gasket too, that was another thing. That seems to have been fixed as well. It's a lot quieter than it was, and it's not like we can see it because there's a cover on it, but it shouldn't leak anymore either. So hopefully she keeps on running strong and keeps being the reliable little motor that she is. So that's gonna do it for this video. Again, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to give it a like and check out all the other videos on this Bug Trike and my other Bug bicycle and the engines themselves. So I want to thank you for watching and hope you have a great rest of your day.